welcome to Kingdom's Evolution, and I remembered to press the start button before my show, so I'm very proud of myself. Hey everybody, let me make sure I got this camera angle right. I want to make sure you get all of me, get my hair in there. It's a little bit low. Let's see if I can turn this up a little bit. There we go. I want you to get my beautiful hair. Hope everybody's having a great day. It is Friday, middle June, in the 80s in St. Louis. Greatest spring we've ever had in my 65 years. If there's been a better spring, I don't know which one it is. It hasn't happened in my 65 years that I recall. I want to talk today. The title of the show today is the Empthite Anthem. And some of you can guess what the Empthite Anthem is. It's not If I Had a Hammer. It's not If I Had a Hammer, because that's not about empathy. No. The Empthite Anthem is For Dead in Ohio by Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young. I heard it on the radio the other day, and it made me sick to think about Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young and these people that used and abused the tragedy of Ohio and the Vietnam War to build their own Empthite army. And they do the same thing with young ladies that have an unwanted pregnancy, and they build this Empthite empire of hell using your God-given sympathy for other people. And I want to go back. I've got it on here because I want you to feel it too. I want you to feel it too, because this was Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, and I promise you that these bastards didn't feel one iota of give a shit for these 4 dead students in Ohio. As a matter of fact, the 4 dead students in Ohio, these Empthite wielding bastards didn't give one shit about their lives, because they just wanted to use their lives and their anger and their fear for their propaganda bullshit. So I had it. I'll take it off my playlist as soon as I play it, but I just wanted to play it so you could kind of hear it, and then we'll talk about the song, and we'll talk about this entire generation of Empthites and how they've raised their children in Empthites. Now it's Empthites for transgender, but these sick bastards that have turned Satan's deception into their entire lives and trying to destroy our world. So here we go. Where are you? It should be where are you on here? I know you put it on here, right? Very top. There it is. So just let's repeat this. Tin soldiers are gunning us down. What if you knew her and found her dead on the ground? Nixon, 4 dead in Ohio. Can you name them? Can you name any one of them? I guarantee you Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young can't. I guarantee you they can't name one of them. Guarantee you they couldn't name them back then. Tin soldiers. The tin soldiers, by the way, were Americans, National Guard, that were stopping riots. I believe at a university in Ohio. I don't know what university it was. I don't know if it was Columbus. I don't. I know there were riots, and the National Guard was trying to keep order, and they had inflamed this mob like Antifa inflames human beings, like Black Lives Matter inflames human beings. They inflamed this mob to disorder, unruly behavior, violence, and the National Guard panicked, which young people do. They panic, and they shot these 4 people. They didn't want to kill them. They didn't go there to kill anybody. They panicked, and they killed them. I'm not making excuses. I'm just telling you the truth. That's what happened. They didn't go there to go shoot people to stop them from rioting. They went there to not allow violence to be the rule of the day. How many times have you heard this song? How many times have you heard this song? It is the Empthite Anthem. It started right here. What if you knew her and found her dead on the ground? Okay. What if you knew Nungaray, the 13-year-old girl that was raped and murdered by by invading criminals? What if you knew her, found her dead on the ground, raped? They meant to do that. They went there to do that to her. And the Empthites let these people into your country, and they knew this would happen. They knew Biden, whoever the shithead was that told us that the borders were secure. What was his name? The Greek guy or whatever, who said the border's secure, lied to our faces when we saw them coming across our border. They let 13,000 convicted murderers into our country. And this is what allowed them to do it. The Empthites. The Empthite Anthem. Total bullshit. Because they have no empathy for finding someone dead on the ground. They just want to destroy our world. If the Muslims will help them destroy our world, they'll help the Muslims. If the communists will help them destroy our world, they'll help the communists. If the vandals who have just want to destroy, if the anarchists want to destroy our world, they'll help the anarchists. They want to destroy our world. Who are the number one people that want to destroy our world? China. China wants to destroy our world. I promise you that. Saudi Arabia. The Muslims want to destroy our world. I promise you that. So there's a lot of people, a lot of evil Satanites that want to destroy our world. And what they've engaged in is they've engaged in building the Empthite Party. Since Vietnam, I know it's ridiculous, but they first of all got an entire generation of college students through the Vietnam War, and they've raised another generation of Empthites, and now we're going on generation number 3 of Empthites. And if we don't stop this, the Empthites are going to side with the Muslims, they're going to side with the Marxists, they're going to side with the illegal invaders and the Democrats, and they're going to destroy our world. We've got to help the Empthites understand that although they are good people, they have been psyoped to beyond reason. To beyond reason, they have been psyoped since they were little kids, since they were in school. They've been psyoped into transition. I don't know what the deprogramming looks like. I don't know. but somewhere we have got to get to the deprogrammable human beings that are Americans, and we have to explain to them that they are involved in a wicked, wicked psyop that is going to destroy our world. It's going to destroy it. It's going to destroy our world altogether. They're going to burn all the churches. They're going to do this. It's going to happen. It's happening right now in Europe. They're beheading people in the middle of the street in Ireland. You don't think the police are holding a stabbed, dying young man. They put him in handcuffs because of the psyop, because of the Empthites, because there's still people in Ireland, in England, in Scotland, in America that will vote for the Empthite Satanites that call themselves Muslims. And they will. They'll vote for them. They'll vote for the leadership that betrays their own people. They voted. Think about this. They voted in England to put that young man in handcuffs after he'd been stabbed. They voted for it. They knew this was going to happen. The leadership of England knew this was going to happen because Muslims tell you it's going to happen. It's not a secret that they're out to kill Christians and Jews. It's not like they didn't tell you. They didn't tell, like, oh, the leadership, we didn't know the Muslims want to kill Christians and Jews. Really? Because they tell you all the time, it's in their book, the Quran, to kill Christians and Jews. Like, you didn't think they'd kill Christians and Jews? You knew it. The Empthites, my friends, are either we involve and deprogram the psyop that Empthites are under, or we're going to have a very difficult campaign to wage against the Muslims and the communists. That's it. It's that simple. Either we engage the Empthites to join us, or it's going to be a very, very difficult battle. So the good news is Empthites still have a heart. Empthites still care about human beings. They do. Their empathy has been shifted by decades of propaganda and what does the CIA called it? I'm trying to think of the word when you get somebody and you just work on their mind till they become a traitor to everything they love. When a kidnapper, the person that kidnapped Patty Hearst, when Patty Hearst was able to hold a machine gun at a bank robbery. I'm trying to think of the doggone word. I had it, but you know what I mean. When the psyop gets that deep, it's very difficult to deprogram somebody after they've been in it so long. And that's where we find ourselves with the Empthites. And the Empthites are still getting programmed, right? They're still getting programmed by MS Now, by New York Times, by CNN, by NBC, by ABC, by CBS. Every day they turn on the TV and they're still getting programmed. I had two of my golfing buddies. Haven't seen them in a while, but they're both union guys. One's a union guy in sports. The other one's a union guy that used to work for a very, very large St. Louis company. But both union guys. And you've got firemen that are union guys. You've got police that are union guys. So you got a lot of these union guys, and they're in the middle of a psyop too, right? So they get public employees. Public employees make donations to Democrats. Democrats give the unions what they want, and it's kind of a sycophant system with the unions and the Democrats. I'm not saying that they shouldn't be able to have unions, but I'm saying those unions should not be able to donate to one political party or another. They should not be able to donate to a party that's affecting how the union interacts and gets access to public funds. They should not have access to that. They should not be able to massage that by money. It shouldn't be, give us more money and we'll donate more to your cause. It shouldn't happen. I don't know in the political beast of things if that can't happen, right? If one party wants those votes and they go more towards that union than the public good, they're going to get those votes. And it's kind of the nature of a republic, right? The nature of a republic is when you elect leadership, the elected people are going to go, they're going to go try to find those votes, and kowtowing to special interests is how they can get some of those votes. So it's difficult to stop in a republic. It's difficult to stop that process. 4 dead in Ohio. Soldiers are gunning us down. What if you knew her and found her dead on the ground? Well, what can I tell you? Empthites. What about all the people that the illegal invading criminals have done to your fellow citizens? Where's your empthite song for them? Where's your empthite heart for them? Don't they count in your book of empthites? So they're storming ICE facilities now. They're doing songs with illegal invading children at ICE facilities. It's all part of the psyop. It's all part of the psyop. The empthites are being misdirected every day by our media to have more empathy for the invading criminals than for you. You have a right to a secure home. You have a right to be able to walk the streets at night. You have a right to be safe. But the empthites are telling you no, you don't. That the criminals have a better right than you. That the invading criminals have more right to food, to housing than your veterans do. The empthites are programmed by CNN, MS Now, NBC, CBS, New York Times to feel vindicated in their empathy because they watch the programming that allows it. So let me go back to, I went ADD there for a second, sorry. My two golfing buddies. Dyed in the wool Democrats. They couldn't know empathy for a Nungaray or the nurse that was killed in Atlanta, or the hundreds of other Americans that have been raped and murdered by the illegal invaders, criminals. They couldn't know empathy for them if you hit them upside the head with a mallet. Couldn't do it. They could not do it. Why? They're good people. They are good people. But the first thing they say to me on the tee is, so do you still support Trump? What? Do I still support Trump? Is the border secure? Is the border secure? And they can't, they won't answer it. They won't answer the thing. They won't answer that Trump secured the border. Like the first time in my lifetime, Trump secured the border. That, to me, that's a start. Now we need to secure the elections and get the illegals out. The Democrats, that my two Democrat friends voted to let in, to rape Nungaray, to kill the girl, the nurse in California, in Atlanta, to kill hundreds of young Americans, to rape hundreds, if not thousands, of young American women. They let them in, but they have no empathy for the victims of the criminal invaders. None. Zero. Because 4 dead in Ohio. Their empthite cult has told them for whom to feel empathy. It's all they are. It's all they have. They couldn't answer that they were happy that Trump shut the border. They didn't say that they were happy that Trump shut the border. They didn't give Trump credit for shutting the border. They didn't acknowledge how many young women and young men haven't been killed by illegal invading criminals, murderers that they let in, but that Trump didn't. And they didn't give any credit to Trump for deporting all the illegal invading criminals and murderers. They wouldn't give him credit for that. Trump hatred isn't hatred for Trump. You understand that, right? It isn't hatred for Trump. The hatred for Nixon wasn't hatred for Nixon. It was a focal point of the psyop. You've got to get a focal point of the psyop so that these cultists and the empathites can focus their empathy and their hatred and their anger at one point. Because I'm not saying they're not intelligent, but once you can get the empathites to focus their entire existence around one emphathite Satanite lie, then nothing else matters. There is no empathy for anyone else. This is my only focal point, and I guarantee you this is all CIA bullshit. I guarantee you that there's a part of the CIA that is focused, and whether it's through George Soros, whether it's through the Chinese, whether it's through Saudi Arabia and Qatar and Islam, there's a psyop for your brain. And you know who used to really focus on that? The war out for your soul was, oh my gosh, I can't think of his name, and I'm embarrassed, but I'll think of it before the show. Just old age, Alex Jones. So Alex Jones has been preaching for 50 years that there's a war on for your soul, for your brain, and it's the God's honest truth. And I found the Empthite Anthem. The Empthite Anthem, For Dead in Ohio. How many times have you heard that song? How many times? Where are all the songs about Nungaray? Where are all the songs about the hundreds of dead that have suffered at the hands of illegal invading criminals? Where are all the songs, guys? Why aren't they on the radio? Why aren't they on CNN? Why aren't they on NBC? Why aren't they on MS Now? Because that's not the focal point for the emphathite. The emphathite, they're going to show you the Marxist singing songs with little kids. Now, granted, they're not going to talk about the 100,000 plus little kids that Trump administration and ICE has saved from sexual trafficking. They're not going to talk about the 100,000 plus of those that the Trump administration and ICE have saved. No, they're gonna play a song. They're gonna show you a song. They're gonna direct your empathy to the children in the ICE detention facility by singing songs with them. They might. Why don't they sing "If I Had a Hammer"? By the Marxists. How about if I had a country? I'd call it the USA, and I'd protect it from criminal, illegal, invading terrorists and murderers and rapists. Where are those songs? You won't find them on CNN, MS Now, New York Times. You won't find them on the hit list because the PSYOP is about for the empathites. So the biggest emphathite group, and it's their first law, and I know I did a show about this, but we're gonna go back to it because we've got to draw, we've got to suck, we've got to pull some of these empathites off the emphathite rail. We've got to derail the emphathite train. We have to derail the emphathite train. We've got to pull some track off that train. We're not going to do it at MS Now. We're not going to do it with CNN. We're not going to do it through their messaging. Musk can't do it all with X. Donald Trump can't do it all with truth. We have to pull them off one by one. Conversations, reason, love. You know that you've been programmed since you were a baby to feel empathy for the pregnant woman, the unwanted pregnant woman. You know that as a girl, as a woman, every situation that is female, if you come out pro-life, you are the retard. You are the wicked one. You are the one that shall be shunned. You are the one that just doesn't understand. You are the one that has no empathy for the unwanted pregnancy. You have no right to feel that way. You are bad. You are bad. You are bad. And don't think it doesn't happen. I promise you, any girl or woman that comes out and tells other women that they don't have the right to kill their baby, I guarantee you they get trashed. I guarantee you they get burned. I guarantee you they get destroyed in conversation, in everything else. So it takes heart. It takes strength. It takes everything a woman has, a young girl has, to tell the pro-abortion people that they are wrong. I'm 65. I guarantee you, I couldn't go into, if I went into, I think about this. I went into one of my favorite restaurants and bars, and they were all watching some social media TV. And it was a big, probably 100+ women. But I guarantee you, if any of those women were pro-life, that if they came out and said they're pro-life or wore a pro-life shirt, there may have been some women that agreed with them. But they would have been attacked. Guarantee it. Guarantee it. They would have been attacked. Who do you think you are telling another woman they don't have the right to have an abortion, to choose not to have that baby? Who do you think you are to have that right? And what we need heroes. We need heroes to speak the truth. We do. Right now. And I'm trying to give you some arrows. Arrows to put in that sling. And the first arrow I want you to pull out is, it's not a woman's choice. It's not. It's not, and it's provable that it's not a woman's choice. It's 100% not a woman's choice to have an abortion. And you say, Joe, that's crazy. What do you mean it's not a woman's choice? A woman can choose to have an abortion. But it's not her choice. It's our choice. And what do you mean it's our choice? Well, because if a woman could have an abortion, then we wouldn't be involved. There'd be no votes. There'd be no talk about it. A woman would just have an abortion. She'd have a miscarriage. Well, that's a miscarriage. That's not an abortion. Well, a miscarriage is the ending of a life of a fetus, right? A miscarriage doesn't need anybody's help. A miscarriage is a tragedy, but it's natural. It happens. It's sad as heaven, but it happens. But even a miscarriage really isn't a woman's choice, right? Right? Is a miscarriage a woman's choice? Does a woman choose to have a miscarriage? Not you. No, not really. Not often. Not really. A woman may be happy she has a miscarriage, which is a sad thing, but she may be relieved. Happy is perhaps not the right word. She may be relieved because she didn't know how she was going to feed her baby. She didn't know how she was going to tell her mother and father that she was pregnant. She didn't know the person that she loved, if they were going to support her in having a baby and raising a child. And she knew how difficult it would be to raise that child by herself. So she may be relieved that she had a miscarriage. But most women probably aren't happy they had a miscarriage. They're probably devastated. My point is, the reason that we even talk about abortion is because it's not the woman's choice. A pregnant woman doesn't have a choice at abortion. She only has a choice because society allows her to go to a clinic, a state licensed clinic with doctors and nurses that are trained in how to kill a baby. So we're not voting for choice, for a woman's choice. We're voting for whether or not we're going to allow doctors and nurses to go into a woman's body and kill a baby. I mean, it's that simple, right? It's that simple. We as a society have a right to decide whether or not we want doctors and nurses going into a woman's body to kill a baby. We have a choice. We have a choice about that. That's not the woman's choice. If it was just a woman's choice, why are we voting on it at all? So abortion isn't a woman's choice, it's our choice. So that's my first arrow. That's my first arrow. If God meant for a woman to have a choice about pregnancy, then God would have allowed, and whether you believe in God or not, natural would have allowed a woman to determine whether or not she was going to have a miscarriage. God, nature would have allowed miscarriage of an unwanted pregnancy at the decision of the mother. That would have been a woman's choice. If nature allowed a woman to demand that her body miscarry a pregnancy, that would have been a woman's choice. Anyone that comes to the aid of a woman who's pregnant, ending her pregnancy, is a accomplice. That's it. You're an accomplice. You're an accomplice to killing the baby. What else are you? I don't know what else you could be. You're not rendering health care to the woman, you're killing the baby. That's not health care to the woman, that's killing the baby. Now, the woman may need health care after you kill the baby, but that she doesn't need you to go into her womb and kill her child. That's not woman's health care. That's an accomplice. That's accomplice to killing. 4 dead in Ohio. What if you knew her and saw her dead on the ground? What if we knew these babies? What if they were born 5 years old and you knew them and they were playing? Do you think you'd have a right to end all their tomorrows because you didn't like the way they were playing? Because you were worried about how you're going to feed them? So that's one arrow. It's not a woman's choice. It's our choice. If a woman had a choice, nature would have allowed her a miscarriage when she decided she didn't want to have the baby. That would have been a woman's choice. So that's one arrow. The second arrow I want to give you, and that's the most important arrow. That's the most important arrow. But to go into that arrow a little bit more, since it's our choice, the penalty for us making the choice to slaughter, to kill the unborn, since it's our choice, the good favor of our Lord, our God, is going to render judgment upon us. Not going to render it just upon the mother, just upon the child, just upon the doctor, just upon the nurse. The good Lord is going to render judgment upon us. And you see this You see this all the time in the Old Testament, guys. You know, Jesus loves us. Our God is love. But do not kid yourselves for 1 second that God, the creator of the universe, doesn't hold judgment on societies, on countries, on he can famine, drought. The creator of the universe, there are natural things that happen that the creator of the universe can change at the creator's whim, but that could be good and bad. So when we choose as a society to allow doctors and nurses to kill babies, how do you think the creator of the universe, the images of God that he knew in the womb, how do you think our creator is going to look down upon our world, look down upon St. Louis, Missouri, look down upon our churches and our prayers? Do you think he's going to be more willing to grant us grace and abundance when we as a state tell our creator that we think it's okay for doctors and nurses to sacrifice the images of God because it's inconvenient for the young lady, because she's going to suffer pain at childbirth, because we as society don't want to feed that child? How do you think the creator of the universe is going to feel about us ending? And we've done this for 50 years now, right? 50 years, is it 60? Roe versus Wade is probably going to go over probably 60 years. And I'm guilty. I'm a sinner. I'm a terrible sinner. Terrible sinner. And I've sinned on the abortion side. I was on the wrong side. I was on the wrong side of this, honest to God, until I watched Charlie Kirk's video about life beginning at conception. Gosh. Do I feel sympathy for young adults that are out having fun, drinking, and they make a terrible decision to have sex, unprotected sex or protected sex that ends in a pregnancy, and they now feel like their lives are changed, destroyed, ruined. They've got no future. Their whole future now is going to be bound to a baby with somebody that they really didn't even know or like. Am I a hypocrite that now that I'm married, older, don't have the sex drive that I used to have? Am I just a disgusting hypocrite? Maybe. It's possible, and I'll pray to Jesus. I'll pray to Jesus to forgive me, that I be forgiven before I meet my Maker, and I stand before God for judgment, that I be forgiven. But now that the window's open, I'm just telling you the truth. They're not choices; they're images of God. There's the Empthites and the psyop that is the Empthites. That is their first lie. And they use all these pressures on these poor young women and men to put pressure on them to terminate, to kill the image of God that's in that woman's womb. And they tell us how bad we are if we don't employ doctors and nurses to help her kill her child. They make it so hard for adoption, so much harder to adopt a baby than it is to kill a baby. What kind of society is this? It's our leadership. They're paid for, they're bought for. It's Satanism, guys. We're sacrificing the images of God at Satan's altar of convenience. And they're lying to you. They're lying, CNN, MS Now, NBC, New York, all these women's groups that don't give a shit about women getting raped and murdered by illegal invading criminals, but feel so much empathy for the unwanted pregnancy, right? Right? Don't feel sorry for Nungare, the 12-year-old, 13-year-old that's raped and murdered by illegals, but feel sorry for Betty that got drunk at 17 or 16 and had sex, and now she's pregnant. No, she shouldn't have to have a baby at 16. She's too young to have a baby. She shouldn't have been drinking at 16, which I was. She shouldn't have been having sex at 16, which I was. We need to go back. I'm not saying we need to go back to puritanical standards. But what I am saying is we've got to take killing a baby off the table. That's where we have to start. We've got to start there. It's our choice. It's not a woman's choice. It's our choice. Do we let doctors and nurses kill a baby? That's it. Do we or don't we? And that's the choice. Not the suffering of the unwanted pregnancy, but the suffering of the child that will never know life. And I don't think you'll be able to I don't know how you give voice to the unborn, but that would be something powerful, right? If a baby could talk. But let's give voice to the children that weren't killed. Do they feel like? Do you think our children are happier, more innocent, thinking that MSN now, MS Now, The View, all these women of the Empthites, they all feel like, they all believe and tell them that their life was their choice. Like they had a choice. They're not from God, they're from their mother. Their mother had the choice to kill them. Do you think that child wants to know that their mother thinks that their life was a choice? You could have killed me? You think you had that right to kill me? A child can't process that, but you can. You're an adult. How do you think that psychologically affects a child? When did you stop having the right to kill me? Because I'm out of your womb? Because you thought you had the right to kill me in your womb, but now I'm out of your womb, so you don't think you have the right to kill me anymore now that I'm breathing? Understand? It's not a woman's choice. It's our choice to allow doctors and nurses to kill the image of God. We've got to stop it. We can't allow it. It's not right. It's immoral. We're going to pay a terrible price. I'm sorry that it took me 65 years. No alcohol for 5 years, 6 years, or however long it's been. Watching a Charlie Kirk video to come to this conclusion. But it's the truth. It is 100% the truth. And we have to instill this love of life, this love of babies, this love of our children. We have to instill it into our young. We have to take them out of the Empthite side and put them in the Christian love side. But it's got to be Christian love with some discipline. If you're going to have sex, you may make a baby. You will be responsible for that baby. If you don't want to have that responsibility, don't have sex. Don't have unprotected sex. And that's, it's a lot easier for a 65-year-old man that doesn't drink, that doesn't have the drive that an 18-year-old man has to say these things. And I get the hypocrisy of it. I get it. But I don't apologize for it. I apologize and I beg forgiveness for my life before, which I enjoyed thoroughly, by the way, which I did. I don't know how to answer. I don't know how to answer for it. But going back through my life, having babies, becoming a father, is probably the number one priority we should put on our young men. Becoming a father. That's would be my goal for this. Is like become a father and a husband young. 18, 19, 20, 21. Forget college. Become a father. It's the greatest thing that will ever happen to you. Get a job, get a career, have a baby, enjoy that baby. Become a leader for that baby. And the other arrow, I'm trying to think of the other arrow that we could put in the sling for these empathites. And I did this on my last show is, here's the other arrow. So these are the empathites that we need to pull away from the emphathite psyop. So you would never have, and I did this on my last show, but I'm going to do it again because I think it's important. So you would never have an abortion. No, I would never have an abortion. Why wouldn't you have an abortion? Because it's wrong. Why is it wrong? Because it's a baby. Okay, so you would never take away an image of God that's in your womb and have doctors and nurses kill it. You would never take a drug licensed by the government to take that drug to kill your baby. No, never would. It's not. I don't have the right. If God has put a child in my womb that is an image of God, and I would never think that I had the right or the power, the authority to kill that child or allow doctors and nurses, or choose to allow doctors and nurses to kill that child. Okay. All right. So let me ask you a question. If you don't think you have that right to allow doctors and nurses to kill the image of God in your womb, why do you think any woman, any doctor, any nurse has that right to choose that? Well, because I don't think I have the right to impugn what I believe onto someone else in a different circumstance. Maybe their circumstances are harder than mine. Maybe they'll be disowned, thrown out of their house, have no place to sleep, no place to live. Maybe their father will beat them. Maybe their boyfriend will beat them. Maybe their situation, being pregnant, is so much worse than mine. But wait, hold on. You just said you would never have an abortion. I would never have an abortion. Okay. If your situation changed and it was worse, and it was much harder, your father would throw you out of the house, your boyfriend would beat you, and you'd be homeless with no place to live. Would you have an abortion? No, because I don't have the authority. Okay, so you would never have an abortion. No. Okay, but you're saying that there are circumstances that would allow someone else to be able to employ doctors and nurses to surgically kill their baby in their womb. But there's no circumstances where you would allow that. Yes. So you're empathizing with someone that looks like you, is like you as far as being a woman, so you're empathizing with their circumstances. Let me ask you this. Do you think you, even though you would never choose to have an abortion, to let doctors and nurses go into your uterus and dismember a baby, do you think you should have that choice? Here, this is a good one. This is a good one. What do you mean? Well, like even though you would never choose to have an abortion, do you still think you should have that right as a woman to be able to make that choice? There it is. That's it. Because you know what she's going to say? She's going to say yes. She's going to say yes. I should have that right. And that's the person. That's the crux of it, guys. That's the battle. The battle of the soul, the battle of the heart. That's the crux of it. That's the person we need to touch. Because it's not that she wants a choice for this other person. Because she's saying that there's no circumstance where she would ever abort her child. But she just wants this other person to have that choice. She doesn't want to impose her will upon another person. That's not what the battle is, guys. That's not what the battle is. The battle is she thinks, even though she would never have an abortion, that she should have that choice. She wants that power. She wants that power. Doesn't want you to take that power away. So she empathizes and uses sympathy for this other woman whose baby is just as precious, right? Whose baby is just as much an image of God. So by siding with her and laying off empathy and sympathy and all these things for her and not the baby, right? The baby's going to be killed. The baby's never going to see light, never going to breathe, never going to have a chance to walk, never have a chance to sing or create or know that God in this world as a human being. No empathy for the baby, but empathy for the woman. Does she? Is it about not imposing your will? I think it's deeper than that. I think it's deeper than that. For a lot of empathites, it's much deeper. They want the power. They want the power that comes from being able to kill, to choose life, choose who lives and dies. And that's our battle right now. That's our battle. Do we have a right to choose who lives and dies? Women, the emphathite women, think they do. They want that choice. They need that choice. They demand that choice. And if you try to take it away from them, you're the bad guy. You're the bad society, taking away a woman's right to kill. And although she may never choose to kill her baby, try taking away her choice. Then you'll find out the crux of the matter, right? It's not that she doesn't believe the baby is an image of God. She just wants the power that women should have the power. She should have the power to be able to have the right to have doctors and nurses employed to kill that image of God. It's powerful shit, man. That's powerful shit. That right there is powerful stuff. That is the crux of the matter. That is the psychology that we have got to get to. Do you think women, anyone, doctors and nurses, should have the power to kill? the innocent. Do you think they should have the power to choose to employ doctors and nurses to kill pharmaceutical companies, to kill that image of God? And that's as deep as it gets. That's as deep as it gets. And those people we need to bring out of the empthite psyop and bring them over to saying, no, we do not. Society does not. We do not have the right to kill the innocent. We have the right to kill those that have killed. We do not have the right to kill the innocent. We cannot employ doctors and nurses to kill the innocent. Cannot do it. Should not do it. Must stop it. We got to stop it. That's my show. We got to stop it. I'm trying to have on somebody from Students for Life on my blog. We'll see. We'll see if they come on board. All right, everybody. With that, since our beautiful mothers didn't choose, well, mine didn't have a choice. I was born in 61, so. But God bless my mother. God bless our parents. I wish we would have been better informed on Roe versus Wade and abortion, but you know what? I'm sure my kids wish they would have been better informed about 1,000 things as well. It took me 65 years to come to this, so we have time to talk to the empathites, but unfortunately they're siding with illegal invading criminal murderers and rapists. They're siding with Islamist rapists and murderers. They're siding with Marxist rapists and murderers. So our time to convince the empathites to have empathy for that baby, to have empathy for the victims, at that time we've got to draw them. We've got to pound. So you don't like Trump, but he secured the border. So what don't you like about a secured border? What part of do you like having an open border and letting rapists and murderers come in to victimize your neighbors and friends and families? You're sick. You're sick in the head. And they are. They're sick in the head because they've been psyoped by 4 dead in Ohio. Soldiers are gunning us down. What if you knew her and found her dead on the ground? They never gave a shit about those 4 people that were found dead on the ground. All just a bullshit psyop for your heart and soul. Amen, I say to you, in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost, our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Protect St. Louis, dear Lord. St. Louis, protect us. St. Michael, protect us. Holy Mary, protect us. June 13th. June 13th. That is tomorrow. It's a special day for Holy Mary. Special day. Look it up online. But tomorrow, it's oh my gosh, what is it? It's for lost causes. So tomorrow, pray like heaven for lost causes to the Holy Mary for intercession. Tomorrow is the day. Go to church, take a moment, lost causes, pray for them through Jesus and Holy Mary, his mother. All right, everybody, have a great weekend. And